إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على دين كله ولو كره الكافرون أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام لم ترى للمتحابين مثل النكاح وبعد. I thank the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal for bringing us together here. It's the first time I'm coming here. I believe I gave khutbah at the BIC already. I don't know how long ago. Some long time ago. So Alhamdulillah, thank you all very much for inviting me, and it's my pleasure actually to be here. This is a very important topic because all of us, we go through some sort of feelings for other people, and in Islam, it is very healthy when when the males fall in love with the girls, and the girls fall in love with the boys. Because in the world in which we live, we have boys falling in love with boys and girls falling in love with girls, and that is totally out of Islam. So we thank the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal for giving us the natural feelings of having love for the sisters, and for the sisters having love for us. Of course, we can't go about the place showing that to everybody, and this is why we choose to get married. Rasulullah said, "An-nikahu min sunnati faman raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni." That to get married is from my tradition. Whosoever does not want my tradition, then he is not from amongst me. Meaning that if it is we fall in love or there is somebody that we need to have in our life in that particular status, then we have to get married. There is no sort of relationship that we can have, because those sorts of relationship are all forbidden in Islam. The only relationship that we can have with a sister is that we get married to her along that line. We're talking about being together with somebody. So in Islam, there's no shacking up, or checking it out, or trying to get a little taste of the fruit before you get married. These things are not allowed. These things are not allowed. So in looking at the whole thing, we have to just conceptualize what Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran. He said, Inna dina inda Allahi al-Islam. That the way of life that is acceptable by Allah is only Islam. And he said, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Whosoever seeks other than Islam as their religion, then it will never be accepted from him. And in the hereafter, he will be of the losers. Whosoever accepts or looks for other than Islam and seeks other than Islam as a deen, as a way of life, then it will never, فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ, it will never be accepted from him, and in the hereafter he will be of the losers. And then the last verse I'm going to quote in this introduction, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Whosoever fears Allah, whosoever's taqwa, then Allah Azza wa Jal will make a way for him and give him sustenance from areas he never even imagined. Meaning that taqwa means that we have to choose what is in the obedience of Allah Azza wa Jal in the light of the Quran and Sunnah with the hope of getting a reward, and staying away from the disobedience from Allah Azza wa Jal in the light of the Quran and Sunnah, fearful of the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jal if we were to go and disobey him. The reason why I quoted these three verses is for us to understand that we are not living in an Islamic society where the norm would be Islamic culture. We are living in a multicultural society, and we have it mixed up. Our thaqafa, our culture, the Trinidadian culture, is different from an Islamic culture. And because of that culture, we may find ourselves delving into areas that are not allowed, that Allah Azza wa Jal would be displeased with. And he said in the Quran as well, وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. If you were to follow the majority of the people on the earth, they will lead you away from the path of Allah. if you were to follow the majority of the people on the earth, they will lead you away from the path of Allah. So even though we are in Trinidad, we have to be very careful of what we adopt as our traits, our culture. Even though we might find Muslim people doing it, and we normally would make the statement, well, Muslims just do it too. See, Muslims just do it too. Why we can't do it? We're in Trinidad, we're not in Medina or Mecca. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to all of the people. He was sent to everybody and to all places. It wasn't restricted. The message is not restricted to Medina and Mecca. It's for all of us, and it's for all of us to pursue. So, hadith of Abu Huraira, he said that thalathatun haqqun Allahi awnuhum. There are three categories of people that it is a right on those people that Allah help them. It's a right on those people that Allah help them. One of the category is وَالنَّاكِيُ الَّذِي يُرِيدُ الْعَفَافِ. The person who wants to get married to remain chaste. The person who wants to get married to remain chaste. In other words, he or she wants to get married because they do not want to involve themselves in adultery and fornication or acts that bring about adultery and fornication. In the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Kutiba al ibn Adam hawdahu min az-zina, mudrikun dhalika la mahala." That it has been decreed on the children of Adam, on mankind, their share of adultery and fornication. They will do it, and there is no stopping. And then he went to mention that the adultery of the hand is touching, the adultery of the tongue is speaking about it, that of the eyes looking at what is haram, the feet carrying us to places where those sorts of acts are perpetrated. And then he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wal farj yusaddiqu dhalika aw yukadhibu. And the private part, now this is for both male and female, the private part would make that a reality, that is, they commit the actual zina, the actual adultery or fornication, or would deny it. So here we are trying to understand exactly what we are about. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith, "Iza tazawwaj al-abdu," when a servant gets married, whether it's male or female, فَقَدْ اسْتَكْمَلَ نِصْفَ دِينِهِ, then he has completed half of his deen, half of his religion. Because marrying is so very important. فَلْيَتَقِ اللَّهَ فِي النِّصْفِ الْبَاقِي. Then let him fear Allah. That same with taqwa. Let him fear Allah in the next half. Why? Because Allah Azza wa Jal has created us with passion, with love, with sensuality. We need people of the opposite sex. What do? We get married. We get married. So courtship. Courtship basically is a period that people go through, getting to know each other, to see if they are compatible, to see if they can get engaged and get married. The courtship that we learn of in the West, that are there in rampant, in the songs that they sing, and the movies that they make, is that they start living with each other. They would hold hands, kiss, touch up, and start living with each other, having sex with each other, and start living with each other. And then if they figure they could get married after 5, 6 years, sometimes they have children, sometimes not, sometimes longer than that, then they will get married. This is what is around us, and it is in Trinidad as well. And even some Muslims have gotten caught up in it. So this is the meaning of courtship from a Western point of view. They go through periods of getting to learn each other and dealing with, and they do certain things that are haram. So, what do we say in Islam? How do we go about, guys, how do you go about getting the girls to get married? Well, first of all, make plenty dua. Make plenty dua. You have to make plenty dua. Serious, because who is the controller of the hearts? Who is the controller of the hearts? The thing about it is that Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us in the Quran, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and from amongst the signs, أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا, that He has made from amongst you, mankind, wives or spouses, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you will dwell in tranquility with them. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. He, Allah, this is the important part here, He, Allah, has made between you husbands and wives mawadda, love, wa rahman, mercy, love and mercy, sakina, tranquility and peace and calm, love and passion and sensuality, and rahma, mercy and care and compassion for each other. See, who does it? Allah. How many times we feel crazy in love with them girls, eh boys? You love the girl, he wanted the joke is that they would say, you know, girl, I could take a bullet for you. Yeah, I could take a bullet for you. Yeah? You love the girl so much, you tell your father, I have to get married to this girl. Tell everybody I have to get married. I could take a bullet for you. And 4 years after marriage, she telling the girl, I have a bullet for you. Yeah. Where the love gone? Really? Where the love gone? Fellas, where the love gone? You're looking at the girl with love and all kind of hearts running out from your eyes. After you get married, you look at she cold and like spears running out from your eyes like sushi. Where it gone? Where the love gone? So you see, that's a kind of crazy, passionate love that we have to be very, very careful of. So courtship doesn't deal with all those things. And the love before marriage is not real love. Sorry guys, but that's the truth. And girls, be careful, these fellas are under stock sweet. Real sweet. They go tell you the nicest things. And they'll melt your heart. What's he talk? Bite, ain't it? I'm feeling bite. I'm feeling bite up. Does he talk all this talk? Oh, I'm feeling bite up, meaning feeling good. You're making me feel good, boy. Yeah. So what do? You make a lot of dua. The normal way is that perhaps you might see a girl, you find out about her. Girls all might see a boy, find out about him, talk to the relatives, talk to people who know him or who know her, the person you want to get married to, and it has to be a person from the opposite sex. We said that in the beginning. It has to be somebody from the opposite sex. Right, so you want to find out about the person, and approach, find out, and go and talk to the parents. This is the way. One parent go and talk to the parent, or the boy will go and talk to the parents, and then they will see what they can meet and whatever they can talk. If the boy has to meet the girl, it has to be chaperone. And the father or the wali or somebody who is the mahram of the girl, if they are talking, then somebody has to be in the present. Right? So all have to be careful. We have social media. We'll talk about that in a minute, inshallah. The other aspect is what is rampant in the society, that we meet girls, we go to school, we meet girls, we go to UWE or UTT or wherever it is, we meet girls. On Facebook, we're meeting girls. On WhatsApp, we're meeting girls. Right? A whole lot of different areas where we meet girls. What do we do? And for the parents, this is a fact. This is a fact. Your son or your daughter might be texting people in the middle of the night. You can't stop it. It's on WhatsApp. It's all over the place. You can't stop it. So what is important in the idea is that you have to be very careful how you bring up your children. Not just what is halal and haram on it, but you have to have a relationship with them that they can come and discuss anything with you. You can't be missing your home, but you're missing in action, especially the fathers. You can't be home and missing in action. You need to talk to your children, and if you can't do it, get somebody around to talk to them so that they will understand what is halal and haram. It comes back to the same word, taqwa. How strong we are in our taqwa so that we can deal with what is happening. Because a girl who outside there in niqab or just simply hijab, when they are alone on the phone, she can take off the hijab and other things as well. And it is happening. It is happening. How do you deal with it? You can only deal with it by educating everybody. We are responsible for our own taqwa. You are responsible for your own taqwa. The purpose of living in this world is to get close to Allah Azza wa Jal, to worship the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. If we break the laws of Allah, we are not worshipping Him. Thus, we are failing in our purpose of life on the earth. So, social media plays a very big part in our lives. Everybody have a phone. Sometimes a fella might have 2-3 phones. Everybody have a phone. WhatsApp is there. Facebook is there. You can get your Facebook on your phones as well and all kind of things. Internet, YouTube. And the amount of pornography you can get, oh, subhanallah al-azim. It is horrible. We have to have our own taqwa. We have to develop our taqwa. And it's part of courtship. Because when we go to UV or we go to UTT and we meet a girl that we like, what do? You have to have boundaries where you don't cross. Because inadvertently, we are going to meet people. We are. We are going to meet people. The majority of us, there's a whole lot of us, they don't really interact and intermingle. But the majority of us, we are going to meet people. We have to behave ourselves and operate within the laws of Islam. So strictly speaking, you can't hold hands, you cannot kiss, you cannot touch up, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Especially you cannot have intimacy with somebody else unless you are married. That's the law. So if you must and you fall in love with somebody, then you have to have these boundaries that you cannot cross. So if it is you find somebody, it is okay to look and see, are they suitable for you? Are they compatible with respect to talking and all these things? Sometimes we go through different emotions, and we have to be very careful how we deal with them. So, Rasulullah tells us in hadith, O youths, whosoever of you is able to maintain a wife, have the ability of maintaining a wife physically and can see about a wife, being rich is not part of getting married. Then let him get married, because it makes you lower your gaze more when you get married because you have a wife now, and it protects the private part. Whosoever of you cannot, then he must fast, because that will restrain him. Fasting will restrain him. So there's a concept, and this will be the last topic I will talk about because I know I'll probably cross. There's a concept called sublimation. Sublimation means we have natural instincts in us. And what we are talking about is like anger, jealousy and all those sort of things. And within those natural instincts is sexual appetite and passion. Sublimation means doing other acts that will hold back those actions. For instance, if you're angry, you take a run, you go and lift some weights, play some table tennis, and so on, so that socially we can be accepted instead of going to fight and beat up somebody. So you change what you wanted to do by doing something to hold back that natural urge. And in Islam we have that. Rasulullah ﷺ has advised us that we must fast. And there are other things as well you can do, cut back on the meat, fellas, and the things that give you energy. Some fellas drinking energy drink and they can't get married and drinking energy drink. Subhanallah. That is not sublimation. That is, you're exciting yourself more. Stay away from the pornography. Stay away from looking at things that are haram. Gaddul basar, lower your eyes. These are what Allah Azza wa Jalla has put in place for us. Inshallah. First off, and this is something we're going to talk about, a boy could get married, yes, without consulting the parent, but he could be really stupid if you do that. 2, because where he gets his sustenance from before, and is he dependable on his parents? Is he living downstairs in an apartment? Is he living in his parents' home? Does he have his own job? All those things you have to take into considerations. So it must be discussed. That is 1. 2, a girl can't get married. If she's a matron, means she was married before and she's older, okay, fine, then she has rights over herself. But still, it is better to talk to her guardian. However, and fellas, watch this, be careful. Rasulullah ﷺ said, La nikaha illa bi wali. There's absolutely no marriage except by the permission of the guardian of the girl. So when fellas go and do a nikah with these girls that are 15, 16 years old, 18 or 19 or 20 years old, and her father doesn't know, according to the Rasul Sallallahu the nikah is not allowed. There's another hadith, أيما امرأة زوجت أو تزوج نفسها فنكاحها باطل. Any woman, or kama qala Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said it 3 times. Any woman who marries off herself, then her marriage is null and void. So once the girl is young, if she's married already and have children and things, she has a right over herself. The better thing, however, for that matron is to talk to her wali, but she still has that right, but not the girl who wasn't married before. You have to get the permission of the father. You have to. If the father is abusing his authority, then you go to the person who's in charge, the imam, or the sheikh, or the maulana, or the mufti, the person who is the head in that particular area. Or you could come down in Darul if you wish, and we'll check it out and talk to the parents and all that. Because once a father is abusing his authority, then there's a still way for them to get married. And Allah knows best. In this modern day, first off, in Trinidad we have the age of legal marriage being 18 years old. So before, I am a marriage officer and I would register marriages for even girls up to 14 years old, but I cannot do it again because it is now illegal. Of course, a 17-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, they could go by anybody and get married. But please don't come by me because I'm not doing it. Because if they catch me doing that, I'll be in serious legal trouble. So you can still get married illegally. It will be illegal, Illegal in Islam, but illegal according to the law of the land. Who want to take the chance, go right ahead. Take a chance. People do all kind of illegal thing all over the place. Right? But don't come by me for that, because let somebody else do it. Right? And I'm saying haram, something could be halal, but illegal. So you can have 2 wives, but you can only register 1. You register 2 of them, they'll hold you for bigamy, for instance. So to have 2 legal wives is illegal. But you can have 1 legal wife and 3 illegal wives if you wish. But you can't register them. So that is with respect to the law of the land. With respect to, what's the other part of the question? The age, right. So some parents, because there is a hadith that speaks about when your children reach the age of marriage, marry them off. We can't do that again. We have to wait until they reach 18 now. Right? So for a parent to say they want their child to finish at 23, 24, first off, if the child commits some act of zina, the parent is at fault and the child is at fault as well. Because everybody is responsible for their own taqwa. If there's a problem, you need to go by somebody who is learned to speak to the parents. You have to do that. You can't run away and get married because the wali has to give permission. The wali has to give permission. The guardian of the girl has to give permission. So fellas, don't do that. Come, let me talk about it. Let me see if we can talk to the parents. You understand? And that's what you have to do. This is the system. Right, so in Islam, males, the men could get married to Jews and Christian people of the book. Right? I don't know why they would want to do it. People have been doing it. They get a lot of problems afterwards because they may have 2 children and then they separate. And the wife, because in Trinidad, the woman get custody of the children. Jump high, jump low, cut your foot off. The woman get the custody of the children unless they can prove that they are bad. The woman kind of mad or some kind of thing. But the woman get custody of the children. So if it is married to a Christian girl, you cannot get married to Hindus, and she get custody of the child. What religion do you think she's going to bring up the children? That is 1. 2, Muslim women cannot. It is haram to get married, Muslim women to get married except to Muslim men. It is haram. Straightforward. There are no 2 ways about it. I know a whole lot of us have sisters and I hope no children married to non-Muslim. The marriage in the eyes of Allah is batil. It is null and void. So anytime a Muslim girl gets married to a non-Muslim girl and there's intimacy, it is haram. So, how do we go about choosing a spouse? Well, first, if you see somebody you like or whatever, and eventually you might decide this is the person I want to get married to or whatever, there is a salah called Salatul Istikhara, where you're asking Allah to choose for you. That is a very ticklish thing. right? Salatul Istikhara, you pray. There's a particular dua that if you don't know it, probably Maulana Abdullah Manan or somebody can show you or teach you what to do. So in the beginning, we make a lot of praise to Allah Azza wa Jal, telling Him, acknowledging that He knows and we don't know. He knows what is best for us, but we don't know what's best for us. And we ask Him to choose that if this person is better for us, for our world and the hereafter, then bring that person close to us and bring the marriage of that person close to us. But if it is bad for us, then take it away from us and replace it with what is better. Basically, that's it. In other words, we are asking Allah Azza wa Jal to choose for us, and if this is the proper choice, to facilitate the marriage, meaning make it easy. A lot of people say there will be a feeling you get, or there will be some dream, but this may not be true. What is true is that to get married to that person will become easy, or you might find a lot of obstacles, right? Whatever, and this is how we have to do it. So, fellas, sometimes we just have to suck salt and put it up to Allah Azza wa Jal. Yeah. So, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, He says in the Quran, well, first, before He says this, what we should be looking at in a woman, and what the woman should be looking at in a man, well, first, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Tunkihul maratu li arba'. A woman can be married for 4 qualities. Any one of these qualities you find in a woman and you want to get married to her because of that, is not a problem. Or you can mix them up, or you can have all the 4 qualities in a woman. Right? And if you get these 4 qualities in a woman and she want to get married to you, fellas, don't wait, Do istikara quick and get married. So he says 4 ways that a woman, 4 qualities you look for a woman. She can be married limaliha, for her wealth. For her wealth, yeah. That's valid. Wali hasabiha, for her status in society. Like the family is a good family and she's a good person. Sometimes you have the family being a good family, but she is not a good person. Wali jamaliha, and for her beauty. Well, that's the first thing that we look for in fellas. Yeah, for her beauty. Wali diniha, and for her religion. So her wealth, her status in the society, her beauty, and her deen. Then he tells us, far be that deen. Be victorious with a woman of religion. And this is the main thing. This is the main thing we look for when we are getting married to someone. Look for a person with good qualities. I have known sisters, subhanallah, knowing the fella that smoke weed. The guy smoking weed and she know that before marriage. And she gets married to him. It goes both ways. You have to get married to the guys who have taqwa, Islam. This is the compatibility in Islam. Compatibility in Islam has nothing to do with wealth, or whether they are of African descent or Chinese. You are the Chinese now, isn't it? The Chinese or the Spanish. It doesn't matter. Islam is the compatibility line. Taqwa, good qualities, good characteristics, the akhlaq, the personality of the person you want to get married to. This is what Islam talks about. Whether one rich or poor, it doesn't matter. And if you can add knowledge with it, whether she's an alima or she's somebody who's very knowledgeable, or the guy is a sheikh or a maulana or a mufti or a pir or whatever it is, or he's studying and whatever, he's a hafiz, mashallah, or he's very knowledgeable, then fine. This is what Islam wants us to do, because with that you'll build good relationship with people. So he's telling us that get married to the people of religion. And that same incident I was telling you about, when she got pregnant, that same guy who she got married to and who was smoking weed and all that, the first thing he told her when he hears that she's pregnant is, not my child. Is this child or no? But he says, not my child. So if it's a person of deen and taqwa, would he say something like that? You know what indirectly he's accusing her of? Indirectly he's accusing her of committing adultery. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, ad-dunya kulluha mata'un wa khairul mata'i dunya al-maratu salihah. That the whole world is an enjoyment, and the best enjoyment of the world is a pious wife, not a pious husband. So that's all to take second seat. A woman getting married to a pious man has a lot of enjoyment with that pious man. But a man getting married to a pious woman, he has a greater enjoyment, because she A woman is the best, and a pious woman is the best enjoyment in this world. So Islam has that, Islam has elevated women in many different areas, and this is one of the areas Islam has elevated women. And he says, Tazawwaj al-wadud al-walud, get married to women who are very loving, and women who can have a lot of children. I know these days when you have one child, 2 children, and that is it. But Rasulullah ﷺ get married to women who can have a lot of children. فَإِنِّي مُكَاثِرٌ بِكُمُ الْأُمَمِ, because with you, I will outnumber the other nations. Imagine on the day of judgment. If it's possible, you have 15 children, and with Rasulullah ﷺ is using your number to outnumber the other nations. It's something to think about, isn't it? And then Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The most honorable of you in the sight of Allah, the ones who are most pious, the one who has more fear of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And this is the main quality we look for in someone who we are getting married to. So girls, especially the girls, be careful when them boys come and they're sweet talking, and he are praying, and he might be smoking some weed and doing some coke and selling this and that. He have bad company, but his love, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. You know what Rasulullah said about love? He said, Hubbuka shay yu'mi wa yusim. Your love for something can make you blind and dumb. Your love for something can make you blind and dumb. Be careful of that thing called love. It's a passionate, crazy, wild love before marriage. After marriage, what happens? What happens after marriage? You go online with the fellas, same Friday night thing on Saturday night. You ain't seen him for the weekend. You see him a couple hours. Swallow that. Take it. And Rasulullah said in hadith, Lam tara lil mutahabbaini mithla nikah. For 2 people in love, there is nothing like marriage. For 2 people in love, again, male and female, and not male and male and female and female. For 2 people in love, there is nothing like marriage. So, my dear fathers and grandfathers, people are going to fall in love. It happens. Why Rasulullah ﷺ is saying this? Why is he saying this? Because it is known that we will have some feelings for a girl, and the girls will have some feelings for a boy. And especially with the kind of interaction we have with social media, it's easy for them to get each other's number. It's very, very easy. It's one of the easiest things. Long time, 1 person or 2 people in the village might have phone. If you want to see the girl, you have to come in night and sneak a dog or bite him or some kind of thing like that. It's easy. But now it's easy. It's really easy. It's real easy. Right? Children committing, they're committing fornication and the parents don't know. They don't know. I'm talking about actual thing, committing zina, and the parents don't know. They don't even know what's going on. It is happening. Don't get frightened. Everybody have their own taqwa to see about. So, nothing like marriage for 2 people who are in love. So, fathers, when your children come to you, in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, إِذَا خَطَبَ إِلَيْكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ. If someone who comes to you asking you to get married to your daughter, and before this, you was pleased with his religion and his character, not a problem, yeah. Yahya is a good boy. I hope you don't have nobody named Yahya here. Yahya is a good boy, Ishaq is a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. But when he come asking to get married to your daughter, you have a problem. Because he ain't rich. That's somebody named Yahya in the back there, what? Ishaq. فَزَوِّجُوهُ, then get them married. Marry him to your child. Right? Marry him to your child. إِلَّا تَفْعَلُوهُ. If you don't do it, takun fitnatun fil ardi wa fasadun arid. If you don't do it, there'll be a lot of tribulations on the land, problem on the land, and widespread. Well, the word is fasad. Fasad means corruption and decadence and all that. Why? Because people be upset, they want to run away now. Suppose they run away and they commit zina. Because of your, whatever reason, stubborn, adamant, silly reason, you don't want to get the boy married to the girl. But before he was a good boy. If you and his father have a problem, fine. It's not the father getting married to the girl, it's the boy. Fix yourself. We sometimes, being parents and grandparents, we cause a lot of problem in society without even realizing it. I have an issue right now where a girl wants to get married to a boy who's of African descent. And the parents are saying nothing except he's of African descent. And he recently accepted Islam. And they're saying all sorts of things that forget about him. Nothing about Islam and stuff like that, you know. He's of African descent. And you knew they're using the N-word. What the people go say around we, that it have a so-and-so in the family and the children looking like so-and-so. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he married off his cousin to Zayd ibn Haritha, who wasn't a very, very rich man. And Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he married his daughter to Bilal, the Ethiopian. He was a black man. I use the term black just to emphasize it, of African descent. Bilal, an Arab, getting married to an African at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Who are we to watch? Color. وَجَعَلْنَكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. We make you the tribes and nations so you get to know each other. Ta'aruf means that we integrate. We have to integrate. We have to integrate. So cut that idea off in your mind about my daughter getting married. You know the problem? If it was a white man, it's not a problem, you know. Yeah. A Chinese might get away, I don't know. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So there's something in Islam called al-kifaya, which means compatibility, and we've been talking about that. The line of compatibility is Islam and good character. Deen, taqwa, that is the line of piety. Right? So whether the boy from a good family, but he doing stuff that you ain't like, but he's a good boy, and he have a good job, you know. He's an engineer, but he's doing stuff you don't like. But because he's Indian, and my daughter Indian, and he's a handsome boy, they go have nice handsome children. Marry her off. No, don't do that. You know there's a serious problem brewing there. Don't do that. Get her married to the person who belongs to African descent and he'll treat her nice. I ain't saying carte blanche that totally everybody. No, it's taqwa we're looking at. Taqwa. Right? We talk so much about love for our brothers. We really love our brothers. As I always tell people, when, just to diversify a little bit, when election time comes, because this one voting PNM and this one voting UNC, we are at war with each other. Where the brotherhood of Islam is then? Where it is? I suppose the majority of the people here is vote UNC, I don't know. So if somebody among you want to vote PNM, you kill him. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You cut him off from the society. What are you going to do? What you going to do? There's a brother in Islam, you stand up next to him praying. You hug him up for Eid. And because he voted PNM is a problem. I ain't saying to vote PNM, I'm just saying. The same thing with marriage. Yeah, brother, nice brother of African. Yeah, hugging him up and then Tabligh Jamaat and wherever it is, mashallah. Brother, you know, have a good job or whatnot. I see you have a nice daughter. Let me marry you now. What? No way. Jose, as they say. You can't do that, brothers. You can't do that. Get off that. Be Muslim. Don't be ignorant. Be Muslim. So Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, وَأَنْكِحُوا الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ. So get married. And then the righteous people from among your servants, وَإِمَائِكُمْ, and your male and female servants, meaning Salihin from among the Muslims, whether they are male or female. So if you have a son, get him married to a woman who is righteous, a girl who is righteous. If you have a daughter, get her married to a boy who is righteous. And then he says, وَإِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِيهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. And if it is that these people you're getting your children married to are poor, if they are poor, Allah Azza wa Jal will get them rich. He will enrich them from His word, from His grace. He will give them riches. He, Allah Azza wa Jal, would give him riches. Just like the hadith, Yabna Adam, anfiq unfiq alayk. The one who's al-ghani, the independent, the richest one. He's telling you, O son of Adam, spend your money in the path of Allah and giving charities and whatnot. I will spend on you. Allah Azza wa Jal is saying that. Not the billionaire or the trillionaire. Allah is saying that. And we go back to one of the verses I quoted in the beginning. Whosoever fears Allah, He will make a way from them and give them sustenance from areas he never even imagined. Make the correct halal choice that Allah Azza wa Jal is pleased with. Make the halal choice that Allah is pleased with. Wallahu wasiyun alim. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He's ever, wasiyun means He's expansive in His mercy, in His father, in His grace, and He's knowledgeable over all things. So, in conclusion, I will just try to say some little ideas. The Prophet ﷺ said, I have not left a fitna, a test or a trial that is more harmful on the men than the women. Meaning that we like women. And when you look at what's happening, this is very prophetic. Because when we look what's happening, if you're selling water to drink, you see a woman. If you're selling a car, you see a woman. If you sell something, maybe some male enhancement thing to, the vitamins, then you go see a woman. Everything, anything you want to sell, you see a woman picture next to it. Added to that, we really love the girls and them. And we love the girls and them? Yeah, we really love the girls and them. And it is really bamboozle we had, isn't it? So you have to be careful of that. And then there is a story, that there was two people, one called Mughith and Barira. They were slaves. And Barira was freed before Mughith. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave her a choice to go back with Mughith or be free. So she chose to be free. Right? And Mughith now would go behind her. It goes like this. Ibn Abbas said that Barira was married to a black slave who was called Mughith. So after they were free, she didn't choose him. She chose to be free. As though I'm looking at him, Mughith, going around behind her in the streets of Medina, crying. Picture it, fellas? He crying. Because he loved the woman, but she didn't choose him. Before they were married, but because she was freed first, he had the choice. And his beard was falling down on his tears were falling down on his beard. Right? And fellas, we just feel that sometimes. You cry like a little baby. MashaAllah. When the girl says she ain't love you again. So the Prophet ﷺ said to Abbas, "O Abbas, aren't you amazed from the love of Mughith for Barira and the dislike of Barira for Mughith?" So he went to her and said, "Would you take him back?" And hear what she asked him. "Are you commanding me, O Messenger of Allah?" Because if he commanded her, she had no choice but to take him back. She asked him, "Are you commanding me, O Messenger of Allah?" He said, "No, I'm only interceding on his behalf." She said, "I don't have any need for him. I have no need for him." So again, I go use the term, fellas, when the girl sell her that suck salt. Take it easy, right? So there's love, right? What do you tell me? We get to bay and all kind of stupidness like that, we feel foolish and what's going on. That is normal. The thing about it is that we have to remain within Islamic perspective. We can't get depressed because the girl ain't like you or the boy ain't like you. Get off it. Our purpose on the earth is to worship the Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal, and marriage is part of it. There is something called premarital counseling that I would suggest to a lot of people who have these sorts of problem. Because while you're in love with the boy, the problem is not the boy, the problem is the girl now. Because the boy here had no problem seeing she every 6 months or whatever it is, or every 6 weeks. The problem is, would she be able to handle that? Here, Qasam being out and coming in. Would she be able to handle that? And this is why istikhara, asking Allah to make the choice, is important. And this is why a woman, especially a woman, should have that chat with her parents before making a decision. Folks, you have to put love on the back burner because of sometime of the circumstances we may be having. And if it is a circumstance like this and she knows that she can't do it without her husband, you're going to have serious problem early o'clock in the marriage. Lots of problem. So if it is that she herself discusses with her parents and she says, okay, I'm okay, I'll handle it, then fine, that's the agreement they will have. But if she doesn't know about it and he hides it from her, and then she finds out about it afterwards, well, I would say she would have grounds for divorce because he was being very deceitful in hiding something like that I ain't going to be in for 6 months. Right? She could have done grounds for divorce because she wasn't told the truth about him. That's why it's good to find out. Before you get married, yes, you love the boy or you love the girl, you need to find out properly about each other. And one of the most important things to find out, what does the person do when he gets angry, he or she? What do they do? How do they behave when they get angry? Do they quarrel and shout at their parents? You know, these are things you have to find out. Find out. What do they do when they get angry? Very important. And Allah knows best. So in a case like that, I would suggest that they go and talk to a counselor. Someone who knows about Islam and has ability to counsel so that they can have some solutions how to deal with a problem like this before they get married. Premarital counseling is not there to break up anybody getting married. It's to help them find solutions to possible problems that they may be having. This is the objective of it. And Allah knows best. At the ending of the day, I have known women who are Hindus or Christian or whatever it is, and they become Muslims when they get married, and they were excellent in their Islam. And I know of boys who became Muslim because they want to get married to a Muslim girl, and they have become excellent. I have also known the other way around, where it didn't work out and it was really, really bad. And many times, the person went back to their religion. I know of all those cases. How do we guarantee for a Muslim boy as well, getting married to a Muslim girl, everything okay, very nice in society, and then he turned out to be a bad apple? How can we answer that? So this is why we put our trust in Allah. We do the istikhara. We don't ever know. The Prophet ﷺ talk about you only know a person when you do 3 things with that person. When you travel with that person, when you do business with that person, and when you live with that person. We can't go living with the girls until we get married to them. The girls can't go living with the boys until they get married to them. It's haram. So we find out as much as we can and we ask Allah to make that choice for us. Right? So it's a very ticklish thing. Yes, we have that problem in society. We have problems where our family getting married to non-Muslims and they don't care about it. What can we do? وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينَ. The prophets and them were told there's nothing for us to do except give the clear message. Who want to believe, believe. Who want to follow, follow. You know, it comes down to that then. And as a parent, and a child wants to get married to a boy or a girl who is not a Muslim and they're willing to come into Islam, well, I have a lot of concerns. And I would want to talk to that person about what is the future of your marriage with this person. You know, if it is that, are you going to come into Islam deeply or not? And that's a question we can't even understand the answer yet because we don't know the future. You know, so we try to find out and try to see about the character of the person and see, maybe Allah might bring him into Islam and he might be a good Muslim or not. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were many people, that was the time people were just coming into Islam. And it's hard to tell how good a person was going to be when they come into Islam. So it's a question that I really don't, you know, it's really difficult to give a proper answer to say, this is what you have to do. You know, you have to put your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. Put your trust in Allah. The one thing about that, because in Trinidad, if you don't do it, they could run away and get a legal marriage, civil marriage. So what is better? At least they come into Islam, get married. If they do anything wrong, they wouldn't do anything wrong because they're married. At least from that point. And the Quran tells us, Ku anfusakum ahlikum nara. Or you believe, save yourself and your family from the fire of hell. So while you may not be saving them from a good marriage, you're saving them from committing adultery and fornication. You're saving them from, you understand this? Sometimes it's good to let the child, you want to get married to him, he become a Muslim, fine. Once he become Muslim, he becomes Muslim and they get married. You know, whenever there's any intimacy or kissing or holding, whatever it is, mashallah, she's not committing a sin. If that didn't happen now, and she ran away because she's over 18 years old, she might be 27, 28, and she runs away and gets married to the guy in a civil way. It's not Islamic, he didn't become Muslim. She living in haram. You save her from the fire hell? No, you didn't. You failed in your job. How are you going to save her? Save her. She wants to get married to him, and she's very adamant. Okay, let him become Muslim. You have done your duty. You save her from a bad marriage? No. Show me where they say to save your wife and children from a bad marriage. There's nothing about that. Nothing about saving them from a bad marriage. We try as best as we can to save them from the bad marriage, but the main thing is to save them from the fire hell. Make that decision for that. And Allah knows best. It's not easy, and Allah knows best. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الله 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 الله